Okay, the outside is done. I got some touch-up paint to do, a couple of spots I got to do caulking on, but other than that, that's the finished look. Right there in that slot and over in that slot are where the evaporative coolers will go. And then that slot down there where piping and electrical will go in. We're supposed to get rain on Monday. So right now I have two 275-gallon tanks set up on the either side. So if we get a decent rain, I'm hoping to collect about 1,100 gallons of rainwater this week. That way I can use that for the initial fill. And there's the other 4 rain barrels. Those 4 and these 4 will all end up going next to the garage over there permanently, and that's where they'll be sitting. And then these beds. So each one of these will get cut. If I can describe it here. Make a cut right here all the way around, and a cut right here all the way around, and that makes 2 14-inch deep grow beds that are about 3.5 by 4 feet each, and there'll be 24 of those. There's 12 of these totes sitting here. They delivered them, all these totes and those barrels over there. They delivered those last week, Thursday or Friday I think it was. But so those will all get chopped into the grow beds, and then they'll go inside in 3 rows. And I'll show you that in just a second, but let me walk around to the front. This is still waiting to get a hole dug for that. On the end of that, just like that barrel was sitting right there, there'll be a pipe that connects between here and this barrel, and that'll be an overflow if this tank ever gets too much water in it, or because of timing or whatever. And that excess water will flow into that barrel. It will also be buried up to the rim, and there'll be a pump in there, and then the excess water will get pumped out to this area where we're going to have the fruit trees, citrus trees right in here, and some avocados which are starting to sprout. Thanks, Jen. So the side, all the gutters are up. This here, like I said, this was a temporary setup. There you can see the first flush device right in there. That's a pipe that goes all the way down to the ground and has a small tap coming out of the bottom with a filter on it, screen. And inside there is a plastic ball. So your first rain comes in and washes the roof and falls down into this tall column. The ball floats up, seals against the funnel-shaped plate that's right in there, and then closes this section off, and then the rain starts going here. And this is temporary. That will eventually be a 3-inch pipe that goes straight down to the ground, joins with that one, which will go down and come under the ground along the side of the greenhouse, the end of the greenhouse, and then that common 3-inch header will go up to the rain barrels that'll be sitting over there by the garage, 8 of them. And then the rain that comes off the garage roof will also join up into that same header, and all that rainwater will go into the bottoms of these rain barrels. You can see how they got a drain valve, but with a rubber coupling and some PVC pipe, 2-inch PVC pipe, you can join them all together. Each one of them comes with a valve, so you can valve one of them out if you want. So all that water from the roof will be coming down underground, coming up and joining in a common header. All that 3-inch will tie in here and go into a common header. And then these 1.5-inch ports in these caps. Tighten the cap, take this port out. There'll be 1.5 inches that comes over here as an overflow in a bit. And there'll be 8 of them, like I said. 8 of them will give me 2,200 gallons of water storage. It'll be nice, good rainwater. Let's see, here's the front. Went with, I gotta back up a little bit, I guess. Went with solid walls here and there to, gotta keep most of the sun out of the fish tank, which is gonna be in that corner over there. So instead, rather than full plastic, I just built 2 windows here. One on either side of the door. Again, the sliding glass door is gonna go right in the center of that opening. And then on either side, about 1 foot wide on each side, will be screened outlets for the air to come out. Because in the summertime, there's Wiley. It's not Wiley's door, that's actually the evaporative cooler wall. Air will be blowing in from that slot and that slot back there. And then exiting out the slots next to the sliding glass door. So again, that's where the fish tank's gonna sit, right in that corner. 8 feet diameter. There it is over there. It's 625 gallons. Next to it, well, on above it will be the display for the fish tank temperature. And then right next to it will be another 55-gallon drum, which is gonna be a radial flow filter. Water comes in from the bottom, comes up to the center, goes down through an inner sleeve or an inner chamber. All the solids drop out on the bottom, and then the water comes up the outside, overflows down through a pipe. It's going to go all the way along the wall, cut across, and go out. And then all the grow beds, there'll be a row of 8 over there along the wall. There'll be a row of 8 along this side of the center line. And then there'll be 7 right here, lined up that way. So 28 feet, 32 feet, and 32 feet. And they're about, 3.5 feet wide. So plenty of grow area. That'll all be filled with gravel. Each one of them will have an external bell siphon, which they will all drain into a common header. It goes out the bottom of that little slot back there, and that is going out to the sump tank. So all the water from the fish tank through the filter, drop the solids out, that water goes out, joins in with all the grow bed drains, and goes out to the sump. And starting right about, here's some avocados starting to crack open. Starting right about here, going for 24 feet, there will be 5 what they're called NFT channels. They're, 4 inches wide, 2 inches deep, and have holes in the top, a lid. They're a long channel, and that's what you grow your greens, lettuce, kale, things like that in. So there'll be 5 rows of them along this wall. There'll be 24 linear feet in each row. And then up about halfway, there'll be another 3 or maybe 4 rows that are 24 feet long. Just one, 4 feet above the lettuce. And that'll be for the strawberries and whatever else you can grow in the NFT channel system. And that just takes, each channel just takes a little trickle of water, about a half a gallon a minute. And goes in the end, runs down the channel, comes out of a center drain, coming from both ends. And in each one of those channels, there's 15 or 16 planting spots. So call it 30 times 5, there's 150 spots for lettuce. And then 30 times 4, or 3, 90 or 120 strawberry. and other things up top. So the stuff that needs a little more sunlight, like the strawberries, can be up there. Lettuce doesn't need a bunch of sun. In fact, it hates it. So that'll be down here. And we got boxes up for lights and fans. I haven't got the roof fans in yet, but there's 4 roof fans that'll be mounted up in the ceiling, and they'll just circulate air around the greenhouse this way, across the greenhouse, and each fan will be opposite directions. So, but then we got outdoor switch, and we have, well, we don't have it plugged in, but there's a light switch here just to the, when you go in the sliding glass door, and then up here there's the fans switch that'll run the fans up in the roof. So you go turn them off. I do plug these lights in at night when I work out here, and it's bright. It lights up the whole place. Not enough for the plants, but for enough for somebody to work. This is where the power comes in. This is a 125 amp panel. There's all the feeder breakers. All the feeder breakers are ground fault breakers, since we're going to have a lot of water in here. So they're all in there and mounted. Just need to wire the branch circuits up. And then, yeah, that's it. It'll be fed from the bottom. The power is going to be coming. You see a trench there. In that trench down there, there's 2 2-inch conduits. One's going to go to the well house, and the other one's going to cut across here and come up on the outside and feed that panel right there. And then up here, we have a control panel. All 4 of these are actually reading the air temperature in here. Our main one, that's going to control the heater if it gets too cold in here. This one right here, when it gets warm, this will be the first one to come on, and that'll turn all 6 of these fans on in these 2 evap cooler slots. And if the temperature continues to rise, then this one right here, the middle one, will turn the water in the evap pump on. And if that's not enough, that second one will, temperature keeps going up, that second one will kick in and turn the evap pump on for that section right there. So there's 3 stages of cooling. Fans only, and then fans and water, and then fans and water. So evap cooler is going to be 6 feet from the top to right about there. Down here, I've got a couple of heat exchangers coming. And when you want to run the heater, you'll close a damper out here that will seal off the evap coolers. This will be sealed off. So then air will come in from the floor. Oops, get my finger out of the way. The air will come in off the floor, go through that heat exchanger, and then come up and out the fans. So, and then that heat exchanger is going to be fed with hot water coming from a water heater that's been converted to run on pellets, wood pellets, or grass pellets. So I got plenty of that. So, cheap heat, just a couple little hydronic pumps mounted right there, pumping water through those heat exchangers. Whenever that controller says it's too cold, it'll turn those little hydronic pumps on and pump hot water through those heat exchangers. And since these fans are always going, normally that is be recirculating air in the greenhouse, but when that hydronic pump kicks on, warms up the air, these 6 fans will be blowing out warm air to warm it up. So this is just a series of single loop controllers. There's 4 here for that, and then the one that I showed you up here, that's not just a display, that's also a temperature controller that'll kick on a hydronic pump that will pump hot water to a long tube heat exchanger where the water from the water that's going to the fish tank, there'll be 10 or 12 gallons a minute always going to the fish tank. That water will travel through that tube and get warmed up before it goes into the fish tank. And that is also just turning on a little hydronic pump that's running over there in that spot. And let's see what else. There's the control box. There's all those controllers, schematic. A couple breakers that feed the pellet burners. And then breakers and little contactors that run the various pumps, fans, water heater, things like that. So these lines here, these are the temperature probes. You can see it here. That's the temperature probe. It's all wound up right now, but that'll come up and go out that hole and run up here to up above where they'll hang down in a shaded box. They can accurately measure the temperature in the greenhouse. Am I stuck on? Oh, so anyway, yeah, that's all done, ready to go. Just got to power it up. Looking like this week, probably gonna come in here with the trencher. He's over there. But then we're going to come in with the trencher here. I'm going to trench a fairly deep slot. Runs the width of the greenhouse, about 3 feet off the wall. And that will be for the electrical. That'll be the pipe that joins the two downspouts together. There'll be a water line coming out of the well house, coming over and in. That line will go all the way over and be a backup supply to the rainwater barrels. It'll also have a tap that comes up in that far corner over there in the front where I'll have a little sink. Because you gotta run water tests and stuff. So I have a little sink to work on. And then what else is in that trench? Let's see, electrical, rainwater, raw water. Oh, an air line. There's inside that well house, there'll be a battery charger feeding a, charging a battery. And then that battery will be tied to an inverter, and that inverter will be running a small air pump. And the reason for that is that air then will come in the greenhouse, travel along this wall, and go into air stones in the center of the fish tank. Because if we lose power and we lose the pumps, it doesn't take long for them fish, because they're in warm water, it doesn't take long for them fish to run out of oxygen. So the water will travel, or the air will travel across the top and down the middle along the outside of the overflow and the drain pipe, which is going to be in the middle. I got a 3-inch bulkhead that's going to go right in there, and the water will be circulating around the tank from the 10-12 gallons a minute coming in at an angle, and then those air stones will constantly cause the water to churn in a toroid shape all the way around. So the idea is to get all the solids to travel toward the middle where they'll go out that drain. And then if we lose, like I said, if we lose power, that air compressor, the air pump is on a battery backup. So fish won't run out of air, and it'll keep the water moving. So that's about it. Yeah, all done painting. Well, I'm done as much as I want to paint. But it's all in there. Like I said, this week, big push is going to be electrical. Building the platform there for the fish tank to sit on. It's going to be raised up on some sleepers and a platform. And then start building for those grow beds over there on that wall. I'm going to do those 8 first, and the 8 NFT channels, or the 10 NFT channels along here, so that when we start cycling, we'll cycle with ammonia. We'll add a cup or 2 of ammonia a day, and then when we start seeing that ammonia drop off or fade away and converted to nitrites and nitrates, then we know the system is mature. And then we'll call up Larry's Fish Farm in Giddings, Texas, and arrange to have 150 tilapia brought out. So then the system will be up and running. That's about it for now. Once I get some more stuff installed, like the evap coolers and powered on, the door, I'll do another update. But anyway, the outside's done as far as I'm gonna go, really. Other than some minor caulking and touching up things, like I gotta seal the seams and the gutters yet. But other than that, it's all done. So we'll talk to you later. Bye.